These videos are recorded to talk you through how to answer questions in English Language Paper 2 for the AQA Examination Board. When it comes to the sources that I've used and the examples that I've written on today, they are from the November 2022 paper. So when it comes to that, you're going to need to ask your teacher for a copy of those sources so that you can actually answer them, and you can get either the questions from here or from them as well. The knowledge organizer that I use for this, I'm going to copy and paste into the description of the videos, so you can find all of my tips and all the bullet points in there as to the targets that you need to be using to answer those questions. Question 3 for the English Language Paper 2 is a relatively simple question because it's the same kind of question that you get for pretty much any English exam. So in this case it tests your ability to analyse language and speak about the device and the words that are actually used by the authors and what effects they create. So as I say in my introduction, it's talking about authors and the effects of their word choices and the techniques that they use. It'll give you lines where you need to get your answers from, and it's a very standard English GCSE question and makes use of the skills that you've been developing for years. It's out of 12 marks, so you need to spend a little bit more time than you did for questions 1 and 2. And hopefully it'll go pretty well because it's the same kind of thing that we've been doing for a long time in lessons. As I said then, in the question it's going to tell you where to actually get your answer from. So in this case it says from lines 23 to 30. Don't answer on any other part, because if you do, you're not going to get any marks for what you're writing there. Now, in terms of targets and how you need to structure your answer, I would suggest that you start with a point or a topic sentence that answers the question. Make it specific, okay? That means don't just write something along the lines of, the author uses language in this question, because you need to actually say language to do what. And once you've done that, actually you have a much more specific point. You need to follow that then, obviously, with a well-chosen quotation that has got plenty to analyse in it. And then follow that with intelligent explanation of this quotation. Make sure then you pick on specific words and techniques and elaborate on their connotations and their effects. Okay, so why did the author use those words, or why did the author use those techniques? What kind of effect do they create? At the end then, I conclude the paragraph with a link back to the question. My example is from November 22, the paper that we only just recently had. And it is, you now need to refer only to source B from lines 23 to 30. How does the writer use language to describe the mosquitoes and their impact? And it's out of 12 marks. So in this case, I'll give you my example answer, and let's see how good it is, and do I do all of those targets that you can see at the top of the screen. The first thing then that I'm looking for is this point or topic sentence that answers the question. Hopefully I've got it. Fern is made highly uncomfortable by the mosquitoes during the night. If I said something along the lines of, the author uses language to describe the mosquitoes, it's too vague. In this case, however, it's a little bit better. It's a well-chosen point or topic sentence because I'm saying that actually the mosquitoes make her feel highly uncomfortable. So I do that first target, so let's highlight that in purple. Afterwards then, I'm going to need, obviously, a really nice, well-chosen quotation, as you can see in my targets. In this case, I've got, she writes, you have doubled over, you have lain on your side, lain on your back, lain on your face. So there's my quotation, and I'll just highlight that in the same colour as my evidence. I'm now looking for then intelligent explanation of the quotation. So sometimes you might be tempted to go straight into picking on words, and you can do that. I like to do it a little bit more general to start off with before starting picking on words and their techniques. So I say, the many positions Fern talks about tell the reader she is unable to find comfort no matter how she tries to get to sleep. So generally speaking, that is my analysis, but I'm not going to stop there because I'm better than that, and we want to have more specific analysis of that quotation, and we'll get that afterwards when we're picking on words and techniques and their connotations and their effects. We can see then afterwards you've got the repetition of lain on whilst cycling through these different positions, side, back, face, suggests that she is constantly rotating over and over. So this case I'm actually picking on lain on. So she said it in a quotation multiple times, you have doubled over, lain on your side, lain on your back, lain on your face, and that repetition is just lots and lots of different positions that try to get us sleep, but it's not working. So picking on a word there, I'll colour it in this strange kind of red colour. I've also got my terminology as well when I talk about repetition, which is okay. Moving on, it goes, it gives the reader a tone of frustration and impatience as she longs to get to sleep. So it's more analysis, it's not picking on words, it's just continuing that previous one. Afterwards then, I write, it might also suggest a sense of paranoia, in that she could be turning over in order to squash a suspected mosquito, and that this might also be keeping her awake. Again, we've got nice analysis of the quotation, and it's not picking on a particular word or technique. So I'm going to put it in that colour. Finally then, you can probably expect me to link back to the question, so hopefully I do. It says, the mosquitoes might therefore be adding to her physical or mental discomfort when not allowing her to sleep. So clearly, linking back to the question, and clearly, I'm going to colour it in pink. Answering the question though, because the question is language to describe the mosquitoes and their impact. Well, their impact is that they're highly uncomfortable, and then mental discomfort, physical discomfort, links back to my point and links back to the question really quite nicely in this paragraph. It's a really well-rounded paragraph, and ideally you'd be writing in a similar style to that.